Hey, welcome back, y'all. So today we're going to talk about 3 different things within Python: the break, pass, and continue functions within it. So I'm going to show you exactly what they look like. So first up, we have break. So basically what break does is allows you to end a loop so that it doesn't constantly revolve and just take more compute unnecessarily, right? And it basically just meets the intent. And once it meets the intent within the block of code, it's like, hey, you're done here. Let's move on to the next thing, right? So here we have scores. So we have our list of scores from 59 all the way up to 60, depending on every different test that was taken, for example. And then we have a target score of 90. So we're actually probably looking for the target score of 90, right, within this list of scores. And then here we have for score in score. So basically we're calling a new variable here, and we're saying, hey, we want to look for a singular score within the scores variable expression here. And then we're going to go print the checking score text here. So that's going to be a string, and we're going to print every single score that we have that's coming from here, because score is it in scores and it comes from here, right? So basically it's going from here to here to here to here, right? A lot of different workups, but it makes sense. Now, if score equals target score, we're making something new now. If score equals target score, which is married to this, right? Then print found the score we wanted and print the score as well, and then stop there. So basically it's going through that entire script and saying, hey, loop through all these until you find the target score of 90. And then once you find it, say loop is finished. So we're going to run that real quick. And now it's going to print the checking score just like we have here. Checking score, it checks the score that's listed there, has all 4 listed, and then we check that one. And we have 90, so it's like, oh, we found the score that we wanted. Now the loop is done. So we can just continue on. And then once it's done breaking, it breaks the loop here and then just prints the last print statement that we want. So that's one method, right? That's just break. Next up is continue. So we have the same thing here with the scores, but we have an empty bracket here for clean scores, right? So we're going to say for score is none or score equals 0. So this basically means that, hey, there's no score present at all there. So maybe the student was absent for a day or just bad data, right? And then we have score equals 0 as well. So we're going to print here skipping a missing or invalid score and then continue that, right? So if you meet any of these conditions, we're going to print this. And then we're going to move on and say print keeping score is score. So we're going to print the actual score that is not related to any of these conditions here. And then we're going to append it. So we're basically going to say, hey, ducks in a row, right? So horizontally list everything that we want, which is what append means. And then we're going to print clean scores with the clean scores function here in this exact format that we want. And then when we run that, it's going to keep our score that we have that's actually valid. And then anything that's not valid, that's a none or 0, is going to be listed with this text. And it's going to keep doing that. And then the final output is going to be clean scores is 80, 75, and 92. So that's what continue looks like. So next up we have pass, right? So pass is a little bit different. So here we have our entire variable expression. So we listed the name and the status for each person and type, right? So we have student and student. So once again, looking for a single student and going through each one. So if student status equals pending, right? There's only one technically, then pass. Pass basically means, hey, we're just going to skip this. We're not going to write any conditions here. We're going to save this place for something else maybe in the future, but for now we're not going to look at that condition. We're just going to move on to the next thing. And then else, meaning everything else, because the other 2 are listed as approved, we're going to say process approved student, and then student singular, right, and students. So we're looking at this now, and then name. So it's going to look for the name and then return the actual name, because it has a colon next to it, they return whatever's to the right of it. So we're going to run that, and now we have the text and then the name of each person. So in a nutshell, break stops a loop, right? We have continue, which skips bad or incomplete data, and then pass lets you keep the structure of your code while you're still working on developing. So together, they all give you more control of how loops truly behave. With that said, let me know your thoughts down below and how you use loops in your organization. And as always, thanks for watching, y'all.